Good evening, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the Ebtedy Talk series on Levant's creative impetus on the rise and invite you to connect with the buoyant cultural scenes of the region. Today is our third talk out of 5 here on Zoom with experienced artists from different backgrounds from Lebanon, Jordan, and Iraq, highlighting the work of these inspiring artists and thus adding to the visibility of the creative and cultural industries in the MENA region. The Ebtedy Knowledge Platform, which is organizing these talks, is part of the project Cultural and Creative Industries, which is implemented by the GIZ on behalf of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and in cooperation with the Goethe Institute. It improves employment and income opportunities for creative professionals in 6 partner countries: Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, Kenya, Senegal, and South Africa, and operates mainly in the music, fashion, design, and animation sectors. In addition to promoting the development of entrepreneurial, digital, creative, and technical skills through training programs, the project aims to strengthen the framework conditions and the ecosystem of the cultural and creative industries. And last but not least, this talk series was curated and is being conducted by Nicole Hamouche from Beirut, a journalist and consultant on creative industries. And Nicole, I would like to hand over to you this time again and to our inspiring guest, Josyane Boulos, who is also from Beirut.
Thank you very much, Salma. Thank you, Josyane, for being here with us. Actually, I always wanted to write something about Josyane or to do something about Josyane because Josyane per se is a character. So far, she embodies others' characters and her own lately in a play. But I think at some stage, I will do something about her. So this is the first opportunity to introduce you to Josyane. Josyane, you are a prolific figure of the theater scene in Lebanon. But not only the theater scene, you also act in movies, and we will see you soon in a movie directed by Lara Saba called All Roads Lead to Rome, in an exquisite short appearance that I have had the opportunity to discover in a premiere. Aside from being an actress, you are also a producer and at times a playwright. You started by importing plays, then you produced and acted increasingly later, to finally start creating also your own, the latest being The Girl Who Loved Julio. Your passion for theater and cultural events at large had started perhaps at a young age, and we will speak of this, but also most importantly, about a year ago, or I don't know exactly how long, you somehow realized one of your dreams, that is to have your own theater, or at least to manage your own theater. And you took back with a group of friends the Théâtre Monod, that is one of the major theaters in Beirut, at a time where many would have discouraged you to venture in such a project. Paradoxically, it is maybe now that it is most needed, as theater is also the voice of people and as it provides safe spaces for free expression at a time where people are so overwhelmed by survival mode that they are not even feeling they are allowed to express. And before we delve into your journey from an actress, a playwright, and a catalyst of theater in Lebanon, I would also like to share an experience, a personal experience with you that illustrates this passion for theater against all odds. And in rough times, I have a very fond memory of a moment where you brought to Lebanon, I think it was during the revolution or immediately after the revolution, and it was COVID maybe as well. You brought, or they were passing by, but you helped promote them, a small French troupe that showed a play one evening in a gemaise next to the stairs, and we were all on the top of each other's. I sat on the floor, and the text they performed was just so empowering. It was a classical text, but as if it spoke of our times at that moment. And what I want to say is, actually, you are empowering. So now we're gonna go for a talk that is, and this moment really stayed with me. And now when I was thinking, I really wanted also to pay a tribute to those moments where we have always the image of Josyane that is the comic Josyane that makes us laugh, which is true, and I will share a video in a moment. But it's also Josyane in rough times, who is also empowering and in relation with reality as well, that is not always very playful in Beirut. So the first things I would like to ask you, Josyane, is what brought you to theater? We know Jean-Claude Boulos, your father, was an important figure of the cultural scene in Lebanon in my childhood. I remember. So maybe you can tell us what brought you first to theater, and also your journey in cultural production, and then, you know, this evolution on your artistic path. And then we'll go into much other questions.
Thank you, Nicole, for this beautiful introduction. It's funny that you are talking about Les Lettres aux Paysans de Jean Genet that you were mentioning, because today I received an email from Gregory, and we are working to try to bring them back to Lebanon and have them tour in schools, because I think it's a very important play to be heard, and because the text is so magnificent, as you said. So how I started my journey into theater, I think it goes back when I was very, very young. I mean, I have pictures of myself acting in birthdays and on Christmas Eve. And it's probably the passion of my father, Jean-Claude Boulos, as you mentioned, who dreamed to be an actor. Unfortunately, his father didn't agree with that. It was, of course, in the 1950s. And he told him, you become an engineer, and then you'll do whatever you want. So my father became an engineer, but the passion of acting was in him all the time. So since we are very, very young, my father and my mother, they took us to see plays. And our favorite show on TV was Au Théâtre ce soir. Saturday night, it was the theater night, and some of the plays we recorded them and we watched them like 10-20 times. I remember one of them is Le Noir te va si bien with Maria Pacôme and Jean Le Poulain. I don't know, I think I watched this play like 20 or 25 times and I know it by heart. So this passion started when I was very young, and when I was in my teens at school, I was part of the theater company in the school. I acted there, and I then helped produce and direct and choreographed. And then I started my journey in the TV business, where I used to present shows with my dad, and I learned the productions, the TV production, and it lasted for 10 years. When I became a mother, I decided to stop being in TV, and I started an event company, and I worked a lot in events. And my favorite events were concert shows and theater plays. Till today, I have probably produced around 85 to 90 plays during my lifetime, which is great, in fact. And when I was I don't remember, in 2004, 2005, I divorced, and then I had plenty of time to start acting. So I joined a workshop with Ebtedy Talk, and then as an adult, it was my first play. And I started writing plays also when I divorced. So I wrote my first children plays. It was Les Gens de La Fontaine that was played for 2 years for young teenagers. And then I wrote online, and it was a wonderful success. We played it for 2 seasons. And Rosine, who is with us on Zoom, was one of the actors. And then I wrote again Haj Etser. It started like that, and I didn't stop. And I think 2016, I decided to drop everything in Levant and do only theater. I said to myself, I'm not getting any younger, so it's time now to do exactly what I want in life, and it's theater. It has been my passion all the time. So I started.
But just a small interruption. But now you say, I heard you say recently in some place that now every day you feel younger since you got married to your passion now.
Yes, exactly. I feel younger, but
every day now you say every day you say that every day you're a year younger every day now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm 60, like I'm 40 or 30, although I'm 60. And I say to myself, but as an active person, I have maybe 10 years, I don't know. So I want to do exactly my passion. So it's theater, and I am into theater all the time now. And in April 2020, this April, we are in 2022, I took over the managing Théâtre Monod, and this is incredible. I never imagined that it will take so much time of my life. I work like 10 to 12 hours a day, and sometimes I forget that I have a house. I think I'm going to put a bed here.
A bed in the theater. Yeah. It would be nice.
So this is...
Yeah. This is a great initiative. It's really one of its kind in the Lebanon today. Can you tell us a little bit about, the La Genèse, the initiation of this? How did you decide with your friends? How did you decide to take back Théâtre Monod? How did you have this courage? What made you take this decision with others, perhaps? And yes, what drives you? What drives you to take such a risk? Such a risk.
You watch my last plays, and I say, "Folle un jour, folle toujours." I am a crazy person. I am a person who goes. I risk. I think if qui ne risque rien n'a rien. So I'm not scared of risk. I think it's good to take risk and try. I mean, what do you lose? You don't lose much. If you don't try, you lose more. So I am in love with Théâtre Monod since years. I'm in love with theater, and I'm in love with this place. And during COVID and just before, with the revolution and everything, I felt that this place was losing its soul. And it was making me feel very bad, because especially when there was the explosion on the 1st of August and everything was destroyed here, I felt like part of me was gone, and the theater here was not taking up, and it was not strong enough. I mean, it's one of the main theater in Beirut. And it's been a long time that I wanted to have my own theater, but of course It's impossible to build a theater, and it's way too much money. So I said, why don't I take back the management of the theater? So I reunited around me, some of my close friends who are all theater lovers. We created Le Créal, who is managing the Théâtre Monod, and we did a contract with the Université St. Joseph University, and they were very happy to collaborate with us, and it's going beautifully. And since April till today, the Théâtre Monod is very much alive again, and it's becoming a flagship. in the theater industry, if we can call it industry, in the theater world of Lebanon. And I'm very, I have to say, I'm extremely proud of all the team and the work we're doing and the life we brought back to this place and from this place to all the theater in Lebanon. I think it's probably very rare that after the COVID, the theater in Lebanon is booming. Although everybody said, no, it will die. There's no way it will come back again. But I didn't listen to anyone. I mean, I have such a passion for this, for the theater, and I believe so much in the importance of the theater in everybody's life that I was pretty sure that it will never die. I mean, people are saying since ancient time the theater will never live, and it's wrong. Theater is something that cannot die. I mean, the movies industry, I mean, the cinema as it is, will die easier than I mean, you have Netflix, Shahid, and everything that is replacing the cinema, but nothing is replacing the theater. Because there is synergy between the people and the public and the actors, and the feeling, the emotion that you share, you feel with the people next to you, and then you discuss after you go out, you stay in the lobby, you have a drink, you feel the energy that the theater gave you, because it's like a ball of energy that
it's physical. I mean, it's presence. It's not across a screen. Salma, I will not insist enough. The physical energy is definitely, I mean, the presence, the togetherness, the connection that is created without screens. This interaction, the interaction that happens is what provokes the transformation. But we'll get back to this. I would like, before we go back, before we go to the power of transformation of theater and to the importance of theater, before we get there, I would like to ask you first, CREAL, what does it stand for? Can you tell us?
Centre de Création Artistique Libanais. So we took some of the words and it became CREAL, Centre de Création Artistique Libanais.
So it's a center of artistic creation for Lebanon. Lebanese Center for Artistic Creation. So it might host other things than theater, who knows?
Of course. Today we are hosting, tomorrow we are opening an exhibition for the painter Bernard Sader. He just finished hanging up his the
calligraphy. You mean the calligraph?
Yes, he is also a painter. So we have now here just now. He just finished hanging his pictures.
I love Bernard. He is here now.
He will be back tomorrow at.
Okay, I would have said hi to him. Okay.
So yes, of course. It's everything. Everything that can happen on a stage or around the stage is welcomed at Le Mono. We have workshops, we have exhibitions, we have calligraphy workshops, we have acting workshops, we have stand-up comedy. I hope we will have ballet with Nada Kano in January. So we have, sometimes we have movie screenings, lectures, everything.
Yeah. Okay, Josyane, I would like also to ask you about the programs, you know, at the theater and the kind of plays you are showing. I understand from what I read that you did a poll before you decided what to show. And what you found out through this poll is that 95% of the people you asked wanted comedy and wanted to laugh, and only 5% wanted something different. So you decided to go by the demand of the public. And I have a couple of questions with this respect. I very much understand that our lives being so burdened, we need a way out, and that we need some humor to alleviate the tragedies we are going through. But I would like you to share with us, you know, why did you stick only with the requirements of the poll? And I would like to ask you, and to share a comment by Lina Abyad, who is a friend of yours and who's one of the major people of the theater industry in Lebanon and maybe in the Arab world, whom once I had interviewed, like maybe a couple of years ago. Maybe she changed her mind now, and she told me, not even a couple of years ago, we don't have the luxury of an entertainment theater. We don't live in Sweden. What I would like to ask you is, like, is it just the choice of comedy? Is it just to forget the role of theater that is meant to impact our lives, as you said? Is it just about entertainment, and perhaps through laughter, can't we also tackle questions that are much more deeper and that perhaps we need to tackle and that we have been avoiding because we always wanted to avoid suffering, which is somehow normal, but also, you know, can we not through humor bring mindfulness rather than forgetfulness? So if you can tell us a bit about, you know, the choices of the Monod and what led you to the programs, you know, the shows you have chosen to show, and also to tell us in a few words about the diversity that you are trying to address, the languages, the kinds, etc.
First, I did the poll, but I didn't really follow it. I mean, it's true that 95% want to laugh, but I'm not doing 95% of pure comedy. Of course, we have plays that are pure comedy because it's essential for people to be entertained, to forget, to feel happy, to go out empowered by laughing. But mainly the plays we are offering are a mixture of comedy and tragedy and drama. I mean, it's more drama comedies that people really like. So like now we had Fouad Yamin and Serena Shami. Their play was a mixture of drama and a lot of comedy. We had Yara Zahour and Adon Khouri in Shimet al-Kizb. Also, it was a mixture. Not even next week, in 4 days, we have an adaptation of Le Mur de Jean-Paul Sartre in the small theater. So it's a mixture, but every now and then we have pure comedy because first, it's very important for me as a theater maker to have people coming to the theater.
Yes.
Because when they start coming, they realize how fun it is, how entertaining, how empowering it is to be in a theater lobby, in a theater hall. And when they get used to come, they tend to accept to change what they are watching. So, for instance, for the holiday seasons, we have stand-up comedies, we have a kids show, etc. We have Mario Basil, which is a very commercial show, but I mean, it's so entertaining for the holiday with all the families that are coming from abroad to spend the holidays here. So I think it's nice to give them a possibility to laugh with their family. We have a kids show called Le Traîneau du Père Noël, which is immensely entertaining, and the families are loving it. And in the meantime, we have 2 dramas in the small room act, and just in 3 days, Hanan Haj Ali and Randa Asmar, 2 giants of the field of the theater industry, they are playing back Augure, La'al Wa'asa, which is also it's a comedy, but it's also historical because they are talking about the history of the theater in Lebanon. So it's not pure comedy; it's also very educational. So I'm trying to mix and have many kinds of theater, so we can. There is one for everyone. In fact, it's not my taste that is in the play. Because if it will be my taste, probably there will be 3 persons in the theater every day. but I'm trying to forget what I like to go to what the public wants, but in the meantime with a very high quality. I want the theater to stay with good writers, very good actors, great directors. Even if it's a pure comedy, it can be a very, very, very high quality. I mean, we had Tok Tok like 2 months ago. It was a text from Laurent Baffy, and the directing and the actors, who were all emerging artists, was absolutely wonderful. I mean, the reaction of the public was extraordinary. And it's important because they came. You know, it's so important for me to have the people come to the theater and watch plays. And then, as I said, they get used to come and they are curious to see. And we are trying to have stars on the stage, so they come and see them and touch them and, you know, take selfies with them. It's very important. It's very important to have this kind of relations between the public and the actor. I mean, if you go to the big countries, like big theater countries like France or London or the United States, with Broadway and everything, every actor of Hollywood loves to be on stage, because it's the only way they really feel what the public is feeling. I mean, when they are they don't see. When you are on a movie, you don't know what the people are thinking, or they're eating popcorn, or they're kissing in the dark, whatever.
Yeah.
Theater, that doesn't exist. I mean, you are here to watch a play. And I think this is the main difference of the respect of the actor when you are in a theater. Is very different than when you are in a cinema.
Of course. Of course.
So this is why I try to have a very diverse program in Mono, and we are lucky to have two theaters. One small one act who is for 56 person, and the big one who is 256 person.
Yes.
So I try to mix and match, and to say there is one for everyone.
Yes, and Josyane, actually, we tend to assimilate you originally, and to not you only, the theater Mono, to French-speaking theater, but actually what you've made, and I think this is also one of the great achievements in a short time, that is to cater to other languages than only French. So you've changed a bit the image of this theater, French-speaking, to a theater that caters to all languages and all ages as well, perhaps, because it used to be perhaps more a certain public from Ashrafiyya. It might be more broader now, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's very important for me, because it was considered as an elite theater, which is something I don't believe in. I don't think it's to be elitistic is not elitist. I don't know in English.
Yeah, elitist. Yes,
it's not what the theater should be. Theater should be very popular, to not popular in as vulgar, but popular. I mean, everybody has the right to come to the theater, and by the choices we made, we are seeing now faces that I have never seen before at Le Mono. And a much younger crowd, which is extraordinary, because young people used to snob the theater for I don't know what reason, and they used to be scared of coming to Le Mono, you know, maybe because it was a little bit snobbish, or, you know, they were, as we call them here, the Tantet Ashrafiyya were the main public, but the Tantet are growing older and they cannot come to the theater anymore. So now I can say with a lot of pride, excuse me, but I have to say it, that
you can. It's a place of free expression.
And it's amazing that we're seeing a new crowd, new faces, young people, and now with they come with families, groups of friends. Like we have people booking for 10, 12 people to come see together the play, and it's wonderful, because also we have a bar in the lobby, so people come early, they sit, they meet, and they drink, and they also students come in the morning. They can connect to Wi-Fi and they can have a coffee and work together or have meetings here. So I'm trying to transform it in a living space for artists. I mean, it's baby steps, but it will come.
Yeah.
It will come.
Yeah.
We even have a small
Josyane,
shop with theater-related gifts. So
yes. Josyane, in the plays that you have been showing recently in the theater, do you see any fil conducteur, any same, like, do you see the preoccupations? Because we always say that theater is the voice of the people, and theater is very much related. I mean, since old Greece, since ancient times, theater translates and relates the concerns of the people in the times they are living, even though it has also a universal message, like the theater of Shakespeare or Ibsen or whoever. So can you tell us a little bit your experience in the last years, not only at Le Monod, but I mean basically now, because you see a lot. What do you see is being conveyed by Lebanese artists?
To tell you the truth, the main message that I hear in all the plays, whatever they are, is the hatred against the political mafia that we have in Lebanon. I mean, in each play you have something that tells the public we cannot stand anymore to be ruled by a mafia. That's very common. Second, there is the tiredness. I mean, how tired we are of the electricity problems, everyday problems,
daily lives. Yeah,
every our daily lives, how complicated it became. So each play they talk about this in whatever, even if it's I don't know, German play, they will put something Lebanese. It's always adapted to talk about our daily struggles, each and every play. And then you have something very important here nowadays in Lebanon, that it is becoming so hard to fund a play that most of the young people and the directors are turning to NGO fundings.
Yes.
And these NGO fundings, they have special requirements. So that's why we see a lot of plays about empowering more women and leading them to react against violence or rape. And we have a lot of play that defend gender equality, and a lot of plays also about the suffering, about family suffering, etc. All these subjects are very much approved by the foreign fundings.
Yes.
And refugees problem.
Yeah. Did you have this kind of plays as well in Monod about refugees?
No. For the time being, no. But you told me not only in Monod. I mean, about all the theater scene in Lebanon.
Yes.
It's to be able to do a play. People need funding, and since we don't have an industry in Lebanon, I mean, the theater maker in Lebanon are just a bunch of passionate people who are living their passion because they cannot do anything else.
Yes.
And to be able to be on stage or to produce or to direct, they go to foreign fundings, and foreign funding are funding this kind of play. I mean,
yes. So Josyane, sorry, excuse me. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you anticipated one of the questions that I was going to ask you later on, but I'll grab this opportunity to go on this subject, on this matter. Yes, the funding, I mean, theater is costly to produce. And this is one of my concerns, which is a bit paradoxical, because we like to promote theater because it's a place for free expression, because it's a safe haven for freedom and creativity and creation. And at the end of the at the bottom line, we find ourselves, I think, from the outside, and this is where I would like to have your views, either being guided by the box office, as you somehow mentioned. I mean, the only way of generating revenues and of sustaining the activity is to sell tickets, or to abide by the agendas of international donors, and which brings you to always be answering agendas rather than allowing what emerges from within to emerge, which is really art and creation.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have a few questions with this respect. First, about the pricing of Monod. You say that there are many young people and from diverse backgrounds that are attending, that are coming to Monod. I haven't been lately, I am sorry. So I don't know, maybe I am ignorant.
Bad girl.
The pricing, I would like to know how in times of crisis in Lebanon, of very severe crisis, the price of the tickets, does it allow the people who are not wealthy to come? This is one of the questions. And then the other question is, yes, in those times of crisis, do people prioritize and say, okay, I'm gonna just put my money on eating and drinking and health rather than coming to the theater? And finally,
what drinking are you talking about? What kind of drinking you are talking about?
Well, and what do you recommend? Because I know you have also a view on what is happening in other countries from the Middle East and from the Maghreb in particular. Having known also the golden age of theater as the daughter of Jean-Claude Boulos in Lebanon, because we had an amazing theater at that time with big names that have become international, which is not necessarily so far the case now. So what are your views about this matter of funding and how to take it further to sustain theater in Lebanon and real production? I mean, not just production that is abiding by certain agendas.
So first, let me answer the pricing of ticketing of the tickets. Prices are going from $5 to $20, which is much cheaper than what it was before the crisis. Before, tickets were from $20 to $75. So the price of the tickets in dollars, of course, have gone lower. Of course, in Lebanese pound, they are more expensive. But somehow, theater now is very fashionable. I hope it will remain like that. And I give you the example of the last plays that we're playing here, Khalia Baynetna and Wasafuna Sabr and Shimet al-Kizr. They are fully booked. I mean, sold out from day one. And people are on waiting list and they want to come and see plays. So they are managing to, I mean, honestly, now it's cheaper to come to the theater than to go have a drink or to have a dinner. So it's at the advantage. And we are trying to keep this this amount of this pricing. And as a theater, we are not renting the hall at a very expensive price, so the producer can have decent pricing for the plays. And then you asked me another question. I kind of forgot what it was.
Yes, like how to sustain. I mean, in the funding, aside from box office and international donors funding.
I mean, there's no way. If we need to have donors, of course, or sponsors, which is very hard nowadays to be sponsored by a Lebanese company because they struggle. We used to be sponsored by banks a lot, but now nobody wants to be sponsored by a bank.
No.
I mean, it's not recommended, in fact. And box office is the main income. So it's very important now to have cheaper productions. I mean, you will see that more and more of the plays have smaller decor, and they don't spend a lot we don't print a lot anymore because printing is becoming so expensive. So we rely much more on the online advertisement, and more the plays, they have like 1 star or 2 stars. So people come and watch play with stars. And this is mainly, I mean, box office is the most important income. And if you sell, you can make money if you know how to sell. And the most important is that the play is of good quality. If you have a good quality project or product, you will sell it. If it's your product, it's bad, you will not sell it. I mean, it's important for the producer and directors.
So you can maintain, let's say, the quality that you want. I mean, not only by meeting what is supposed to be the public demand that is mainstream. I mean, if you want to do a play of Anouilh, je sais pas.
I mean, I have Jean-Paul Sartre just starting after tomorrow. I hope he will sell tickets because it's Le Mur. I mean, it's a great play from Jean-Paul Sartre. So, of course, it's not mainstream, but there is a public for that. And he will be playing a solo in the small theater.
Who is he?
André Bouzed.
Ah, d'accord. Actually, Josyane, also I read something you highlighted a while ago that drew my attention. When you mention all these revenues, now when we listen to you, we feel that theater is really income generating, which changes my mind about theater. So what I would like to highlight, reading one of your interviews, you mentioned, actually, you gave the example of the industry in England, and you mentioned, it was a couple of years ago, I think, that the West End in London generates more than 764 million pounds in VAT only to the state, with 15.5 million tickets sold. So what's interesting is also that in a country where people think of money, I mean, where the state thinks of money, we can also highlight the fact that this industry can be income generating. And when it is supported, it can generate even more income and more support to the state. And I think that also ignorance sometimes make people think that those are secondary industries, whereby the cultural industry and the creative industry is hugely income generating, especially in a country like others where people are so creative.
Absolutely. And there was a study made by Basel Fleihan Foundation, very interesting, about the importance of culture and the income it produces. So culture is the main, like tourism, people come for the culture of the country. They don't come to listen to our politicians. I mean, we will forget who are the politicians. Khalil Gibran is still known, but who was president at the time of Khalil Gibran in Lebanon? Nobody will remember. So
it's true.
I mean, I'm talking about Khalil Gibran, not the other.
Yeah, I understand. Anyway, nobody else than us would understand. Salma, actually, because one of the current politicians has the same name and he's not necessarily appreciated by everyone. So, okay, just small private Lebanese observation.
So people who come from abroad to visit a country, they go to Baalbek, they go to Jbel, they eat the food, they buy the artisan products. I mean, they get immersed in the culture of the country. They don't get immersed in the economic or financial or political aspect of the country. So culture is the main money maker in all the countries in the world. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Lebanon should be just living from culture and tourism and archaeology. I mean, it's enough. If we clean our beaches and we arrange our touristic archaeological sites and enhance everything cultural. I mean, people used to come from all over the world before the war to go to watch Baalbek and the festival of Baalbek.
Josyane.
So, but unfortunately, we don't have cultural people in the government. With all due respect to every one of them.
Also, to pick also on a sentence that I read about you, I mean, that you mentioned that I really like, speaking about culture, in parallel to Winston Churchill, who during the war said that culture needs to be supported at those times in particular. I read a sentence of yours that I really liked, and that where you say that a country that doesn't have a culture doesn't have a homeland.
Exactly.
And culture is really what federates, what also federates us. So speaking of this, I would like to speak a bit more about the power of theater and the transformative power of theater. Like, aside from people attending shows and interacting, what is for you, the power of theater? Where does it stem from? And maybe also speaking about this physical interconnectedness and the attention, the art of attention, of listening, and all the spaces it offers in terms of possibilities, of dialogues, of opening arrays of possibilities.
Theater is an extremely empowering weapon, and that's why it's dangerous, and that's why in general in dictatorship countries they try to kill it. It's an extremely empowering weapon. It can be empowering as a person, I mean, individually, and it's very empowering as a whole public and communities. People used to do underground theater in countries where it was forbidden because they know how important it is when you share something directly with the public. And as an individual, if you are timid or if you lack confidence or if you don't know how to speak in public, theater exercises and theater methods are extremely empowering. I mean, when you are, because it's not only that it's a text or it's a directing or it's when you are in a theater company or when you are preparing for a play, the troupe, the group becomes a family immediately because it is so intimate. I mean, when you are on stage, you are naked. And when you are backstage, you are physically naked also. I mean, when you change costumes, when you are tired and you are rehearsing and you come, you were angry. And I remember I've played so many plays, and each play I still have a family. And it doesn't disappear, it stays, because we create bonds that are, yes, impossible to break, because we lived an experience that is so wonderfully empowering that we stay together. And that's maybe the most powerful weapon of all, that it unites. And when we are playing or acting, we come from all backgrounds. And we don't care if you are Muslim, gay, Christian, Druze, we don't care, because we are related by one and unique thing. It's our passion for theater. And this is our religion, and this is our sexual appartenance. We don't belonging. We don't care. I mean, people in the theater are very open-minded, are very accepting of the other, because that's why we are artists. And that's why we are in the theater. And
Yes.
because we live this experience that nothing, absolutely nothing can replace. Absolutely nothing. Believe
And
me.
actually,
I've lived a lot in my life. I've tried
yes.
everything. And theater is the strongest.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to be bound. Then you and when you have the chance to become many characters and to play many characters, you start to understand people more and more. So you become more and more open to other cultures, our people who are different and everything. Like me, for instance, when I am trying to impersonate a character and to become a character on stage, I forget myself and I start looking and I learn from the character of other people who looks like my character. I observe a lot. I look how they walk. I try to imagine what is the life behind the people I see on the street, to try to put it on stage. And so when you are on stage and you are acting, you become a real person, a real character. And this, people recognize themselves into you in the character, and it helps them relax or laugh or cry or let go or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And actually what I like, I don't know if you're still doing this in many plays. In some of the plays I had seen, there were talks after the play. And people after the play, immediately after the play, people are still under the emotional impact, are more open by this experience, less resistance. It breaks the resistances. So it's also an opportunity to share about things that might be taboo outside in society.
Absolutely.
And this experience is really, are you still doing this kind of...
Well, it depends on the director and the place.
Yes.
But some people like to do it, some people don't like to do it. I mean, it's open. But I encourage that, because the Q&A after a play is very interesting, and you learn from what the people ask you. I mean, they see things we don't see in the play. And it's funny how much sometimes every public is so different from the other, and how they feel the play differently, which is very amazing, very, very amazing. The public is so different every night. It's people ask me, "Aren't you bored to do the same thing every night?" I said, "I'm never doing the same thing. I mean, the same text, but it's never the same play, never the same emotion. It's never the same, never."
And Josyane, speaking of this, I mean, I didn't think of that before, but now that I hear you say this, I have a curiosity question, actually, about your agility, your mental agility, because you play sometimes, like you have yourself many plays where you are acting. How can you, like in a short lapse of time, embody this and then that, and also know the texts, the quantity of texts you because Josyane is really prolific, but like
I'm an actor.
And in many languages. Like this takes a mental agility to go from one language to another language, from one character to another character, and you're just unstoppable. So what animates you? Like what makes you?
My passion. My passion. I'm a born actor.
And to stay focused, I mean the focus that it takes.
I mean, this is what you learn when you become an actor. And this is the fun part of being an actor.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just to go out and say a few sentences. But it's this. I mean, I have the capacity to memorize quite fast my texts. So, and I do that very early in the process. So I am able to become my character, my personnage, and then I enjoy so much acting that this is what I do. I mean, I don't have a recipe. I just do it, and that's it. I mean, it's so delightful to do it.
Yeah,
Josyane,
about speaking about delight. Can you tell us a few things about the girl who loved Julio? And actually, aside from delight, the girl who loved Julio also, beyond delight, you took the risk to also reveal yourself and reveal your fragilities as much as your joy. So, and your cheerfulness. So do you want to share, because also Josyane writes, and she wrote this this play that she showed recently. Can you share a few things about and this experience, and tell us, what do you prefer, since you have the various hats, you wear the various hats, do you prefer writing, acting, or producing?
I am asked often this question, and I say it's very difficult for me to separate the three of them. Definitely being on stage is the most delightful. I mean, because when you are applauded at the end, I mean, nothing beats that. And when you make people laugh, nothing beats that. But actually now I'm watching, I produced a play for kids called Le Traîneau du Père Noël. And the text I wrote like 17 years ago, and I wasn't able to produce it for many different reasons. And now it's playing, and I'm delighted when I watch it. I mean, I laugh every time I watch it, although I know the text by heart. I wrote it 17 years ago. I've watched it like 10 times, but every time I watch it again, I laugh, because the director did, did an excellent job with the actors. Coming back to Julio was a play I was not intending to write. I was writing a totally different play, and I was writing, and suddenly I had this revelation, and it's like a bucket of ice. I put aside the other play, and I wrote Julio in 10 days. In fact, I wrote it when the troupe from France that you saw in February was here. So I wrote 5 days, stopped 5 days. And it came like that. I wrote like 30 or 40 pages, and then I started to cut. And never in my life I thought I was able to write a monodrama, because I think I'm much better in dialogues. But somehow, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the time, you know. Sometimes it's just the time for you to do this. And since I turned 60 like 2 weeks ago, I said it's now or never. I mean, this story with Julio Iglesias that happened with me in 1980 is a story that everybody loves. And every time I tell it, people laugh their hearts out. And I think, why don't I do it on stage and then continue about other things in my life? So I wrote a play that talks about the history of Lebanon and my history in parallels. So it's very important for me to talk about what happened in Lebanon during the war, so the new generation will hear about it. And which is very nice that I had a lot of young people to came and watch the play. And although they are not related to my history, because I'm older than them, they're related to the story. So which is very important, because they felt what we've been through during the war, and etc., etc. So this play, yes, it's very revealing. But it's also very empowering for other women, because I was very free on stage. And I did stuff people didn't imagine I could do, like taking a shower. And
did you imagine you could do? Did you imagine?
I mean, yes, because when you are on stage, you are not. I am not me. Although I was talking about me, but I'm not me.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
I remember once now in the play in Julio. It's true, I take off my clothes on stage, I mean, behind a transparent curtain, and I take a shower with water and everything, but it's different because I'm on stage. And then after that, I go in, and I started in my, at the end of the play, I go into the coulisses backstage and change my clothes. And there is a lady who come in, and she calls me, Josyane. I said, please, one moment, I'm getting dressed. And she said, but we just saw you half naked. I thought it's not the same. It's definitely the same. I mean, there I'm, of course, acting. Here I'm. So it's so different. So Julio was an amazing experience for me, because it's the first time I'm alone on stage, And when, since I acted in the small theater in Mono, I was in direct contact with the people. I mean, they felt like they were sitting in my dining or living room, and they used to give me comments. And, I really felt like I was sitting among my friends and telling stories. It was extremely, extremely fun, extremely fun. I mean,
Did
really,
Julio,
no.
Does Julio know that you?
No, although
I think you have to share with him.
I did.
Salma, just for the small origin of the story, it's a real story where Josyane, when she was very young, I think a teenager, she was with her father. Julio was somewhere in Lebanon, and she told her father, "I want to go with you." Her father was at TV. And she gave Julio a kiss. She kissed him on his mouth, or I don't know.
French kiss and everything.
French kiss.
And he remembered the next day.
At that time. So this is the background of the story.
I mean, the important thing is not the kiss. It's what
j'ai compris.
revealed. What it revealed in my
the daring and
what it revealed in my character.
And the daring and the longing always to your dreams or whatever,
Exactly.
So speaking of this, what would you say? You say that now, currently, many young artists, people are referring to you, sharing with you for theater, for their projects. And you are well known to say, at least this is what I read and this is what I love, that theater is a full-time activity per se, and it's not a side thing that one does, after hours.
Exactly.
And that we can make a living out of this. What would you say in the current situation of Lebanon to the youngsters who are wanting to make a living out of theater?
Of course, it's not easy, but they have to struggle a little bit, and then there is a place for them. I mean, here the Mono is producing young emerging artists, which is something we really want to do. And we have produced like 2 or 3 plays, I don't remember. But now we're producing next, in 2 weeks, also a young emerging artist. So we give them the opportunity to come, and they don't pay anything, and we produce their plays. Because I believe strongly that young people have to stay in Lebanon. I mean, if they go outside, they probably will not work in their profession. They will become, I don't know, waiters, or I don't know what kind of job they will find. And to express yourself, you have to be here. Here you will make a change. Outside, you will not make a change. I mean, it's so important to stay in Lebanon and fight, although it's very hard and it's very complicated, but it makes you a real man or woman, and you will become much stronger than anyone else. And I really believe in that. I know it's very hard to stay in Lebanon. I mean, the opportunities are small and everything, but we survived a war, and we stayed here to show people that we are not going to be extinct. So for me, it's huge importance to help these young people so they stay in the country. And my door is open, and they all come and ask for a consultancy that I give for free, of course. And they ask for my advice, and I read their text. They come and read their text also, and I'm very open to this. I mean, I'm a dinosaur in the industry now, so I feel that I have to give back everything I learned, and it's a pleasure for me to be like a mentor to so many young artists now, and I try to find them jobs. So every time somebody comes and asks me, do you know somebody who can be an assistant producer, or do you know, etc., and I always have this list of names of young people who are capable and strong and willing to work, and I'm finding jobs for them. So I think it's very important.
Josyane, before we finish, just a few more questions. Speaking of this, actually, two two main questions for me. Can't we not export a Lebanese theater abroad? I mean, I know to export theater is costly, but nowadays, since we also see many, like now when I go to Germany or to Spain or to Greece, I see foreign plays with surtitres, avec les surtitres. So with all what is being produced and unfortunately capitalizing on all what we have lived, we have had multiplied experiences of human, universal, finally, experiences, whether death, war, love, whatever. So can't we export Lebanese theater? And the other way around, Lebanon being cheap now, but we being a crossroads of culture, can we not host also festivals, international festivals like, they do in the Maghreb, in Tunis, in Egypt as well?
I'm working on that, Nicole. And I'm preparing many, how do you say, dossier, many files, many ideas that I'm ready to share with the expert in the field. Unfortunately, we missed something very important in Lebanon, is the theater industry. We don't have a theater industry. So hopefully, I mean, I'm in contact with the French embassy, and I gave the idea to have with them workshops and seminars to create a job that doesn't exist in Lebanon, which is the diffuseur programmeur. The people who take a play and sell it abroad, which is a very common thing in France. And there's a producer, a company, they buy the play and they start to sell it all over the world. I mean, in France, they are lucky because France is a big country, so they can move already from one city to another. But we can do the same here. I said to the French ambassador that the Lebanese theater is born and it dies in Beirut, not even in Lebanon. So hopefully, I'm trying to, but I cannot do everything by myself, unfortunately. And it's very important that the Beiruti plays go already in the other cities.
In the regions.
Yes, in the regions. We have so many cities. And then outside in the Arabic countries, and then Europe, Canada.
Yeah.
It's very possible, but you just need somebody who does it. And I can't do everything.
The catalyst.
But there are so many. There are so many people who are traveling. I mean, Avignon, there were 4 plays, Lebanese plays in Avignon last year. And well, hopefully, let's hope that we can do that. I know that we still have 5 minutes, so I think we have to.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Just a few seconds more, a few minutes more. And can we have, Lebanon, Josyane, also hosting international festivals?
Well, we can do anything we want, but we need electricity 24 hours a day. We need the stability in our money. We cannot invite foreign companies to come and act in festival when we don't, with the inflation we have. It's impossible. I mean, if you want to. I mean, I'm contacted every day, huge companies who want to come and play at Le Mono, but we cannot produce them. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's so expensive.
Unless it's subsidized. It's subsidized.
Exactly.
And you're not working on any project like for a national agency of theater, like in Egypt?
For the time being, I'm working to make the theater work as good as possible, and then call me back in a year. And we'll see.
Last question. Speaking of freedom, since theater is a place of freedom, do you get censorship in the plays? Tell me about censorship currently.
Not as much as before, honestly, not as much as before. There are some things that are forbidden, but we avoid them. And already, and censorship.
You avoid.
We avoid them, but we avoid them by written, but we can act them.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, and actually they
gesture-
don't come, my understanding is that now they don't come to see the play
No, no,
beforehand,
no.
they just read.
Because- yes, and we pay en plus. We pay to be
Yeah, I
censored.
know this.
It's absurd. I mean,
We pay to be censored.
yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the theater writers and screenplays, we know how to avoid to be censored. So
Yeah.
it's okay. And it's not so complicated. I mean, there are
Yeah.
just 2 or 3 things that we shouldn't talk about, but that's it. Yani. We shouldn't insult the president of the republic. We shouldn't insult Hezbollah. We shouldn't, this kind of things. Yani, no.
Yes.
Know them, but we can do them differently.
Before we close, I just want to show a few, just like 2 minutes, Jafar, if you allow us, because it's such a pleasure to see Josyane acting. Just a few seconds, I'm gonna share an abstract. Share screen. Jafar, كيف حط اللينك? Jafar, I'm gonna send you the link in the chat.
Okay.
If you can just play it just for a few minutes.
يلا wait.
عم جرب ابعته ما بعرف. Attends, voilà. Jafar, can you just show it a few minutes? بركي أنا فيني. Huh? You received it?
Yeah. Is there any specific part that would be good to show? Like
No, just the beginning. The beginning is top.
Okay.
And then don't end the session. I want just to say one word before. I'll tell you when to stop.
على راسي.
Please.
يا باي
لا راح اقدمه شوي جعفر.
في فرج وعم شوف
وين جوزيان؟
عيني بيضة هيك عم بترفرف.
لا جعفر فيك تقرب بعد. قرب. هاي جوزيان. اوكي طيب جعفر
انت 100 واحد طلبي
المسرحية.
هاي خليها
يلي حمل حيله وهاجر بلا ما يسأل عن حدا.
يا منير يا قهار كنت صرت كندية هلا ثنية.
هلا ثنية بعدك لبنانية وحتضل لبنانية وحتموت لبنانية.
خلص جعفر.
I love this play.
I love this. راح تموتي لبنانية وتضلك لبنانية whatever. So this is to close actually. Salma here. Josyane is the other one wants to go to Canada, and Josyane is telling her like, whatever you do, you are still Lebanese, and you will always be Lebanese. So
will die Lebanese.
Homage to the Lebanese. My last thing, Josyane, to say bye, because it's very difficult to say bye. I read something also that you said that with your company 62 events by Josyane, you intend to do 62 successful events before retiring on an island in the Caribbean. So I just want
Forget
to know.
about it.
Exactly.
The money is in the bank. I'm going nowhere.
Exactly. No Caribbeans. You're staying in
No Caribbean.
barely رح تضلك بلبنان.
موت لبنانية.
Okay, thank you, Josyane, very, very much. Thank you, Salma, for giving us the opportunity to share with such empowering and combative people in Lebanon. Thank you. And see you soon, Josyane. What do you want to announce? Any play that you want to invite us to come and see, like people to say?
Every play that is a mono, you have to come and see.
No, but now what is like now? Can you tell us what is now happening?
Now on Thursday we start with La'al wa Asa Augure with Hanan Ajali and Randa
yes.
Asma. And on
Yes.
Thursday also we start with André Bouzet and Gidar, Le Mur, de Jean-Paul Sartre. And we still have ongoing Le Traîneau du Père Noël, that is a play for families. And next week we have on the 13th and 14th Wasafulna Sabr, which I'm acting in and which is almost sold out.
لا إيمي هي آخر واحدة.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone wants to say something to Josyane in the audience?
They will tell me. They will phone me in 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye,
so much,
Josyane.
Josyane. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to go to the next play after this.
أهلا وسهلا.
Thank you so
أهلا
much.
وسهلا.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
Most welcome.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Thank you, Jafar.
And thank you,
Thank you.
Nicole.
Thanks a lot.